Oh, hi! You found us!
Or we found you.
Wow. Ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. We're excited! We're excited! We're excited! Shh! To talk about dementia. Well, hello, hi!
Hi there. How are you? My name is Nancy Nelson, and I am Dangle from Dangle and Dot.
And my name is Kat Hartley, and I am the Dot of Dangle and Dot, and together
We dare
to do dementia differently. And we think you can too. And so we're here to explore ways that we can reframe that negative stigma.
that comes at you from the very beginning.
And you can get buried in it.
Yeah, you can hardly breathe after you hear it. So what we say is that we look at it in a little lighter and brighter way, and we're not overstepping any kind of feeling you might feel or that we might feel. We just kind of step over it and
yes. And Nancy,
within it.
Those who are new to the show, what makes you, I call you, an expert of lived experiences?
I was diagnosed 2 times, first with early onset Alzheimer's and 4 years later with mild cognitive impairment, which I've stayed at and am just sort of percolating here.
Yeah, for 13
Gratefully.
years now.
Yeah.
Yes, wow.
Yeah.
And I represent family caregiving, having lost 8 family members to all forms of dementia my entire life.
Can you believe that?
And watching the journey of the caregiver, and then having my own master class, I would call it,
It was.
under my roof, caring for a brother that was born with cognitive differences, and then also a mom that was at the end of life experiencing changes. And so we feel like we're the experts in our own journey.
We are. And maybe what we've experienced will help you get through your journey.
And that's absolutely why we're here. And we're glad that you're joining us.
We are.
And
really
we
glad.
do want to really be able to talk about it from both sides.
That's right. And you might look at us and think that Kat is my care partner. She is not, and is, if you know what I mean, because I'm with her more than I'm with anyone else in my family. However, we are just dear friends from the second we met.
Just people kept putting us together for a reason. And now we're here to share some joy and some motivation.
Yes, and learn about care pair, meaning
Yes.
that if 2 people from the opposite sides can come together and can talk genuinely.
Yes. And maybe even have some fun.
Yeah, we can do that.
But first, before the fun happens, or before seeing it differently, one of the toughest things to do, I think, when you are starting to suspect that someone has a cognitive something going on, and now suddenly you might be in a caregiving role, is facing your fear.
And believe me, it comes from both sides. You might not think it would come from the caregiving side. It might only come from the person being diagnosed. That is not true. Mm-hmm. That is not true. It is changing not only those 2 people, but everybody that you know. And
in your circle.
Yes.
Yes.
And so it helps to know that you can sort of step here and step there, and there is a way to look at it differently.
So Nancy, when you were diagnosed, perhaps, or you were thinking something was up, right, with the cognitive changes, the changes you were experiencing, kind of getting lost in streets. And
I traveled the streets for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'd get in the car and the street would not connect with anywhere. So
what kind of, can you describe what kind of fear you were facing?
Oh dear.
I think you have some expletives.
I do, but I'm going to save that for in person. but it is scary.
It's scary.
It's scary. And the first thing is to not respond to it because you are in fear.
Right.
When I started not being able to directions, not be able to find places or get there late, or are you coming kind of thing when the when the phone would ring. And it slows you down. It makes you think, wow, right? Puts you in a not feeling well sort of position, and you really just have to breathe through it. And you have to really say, okay, is this something that I'm manufacturing myself for one reason or another, or is it something that I really need to go to the doctor and have looked at? And I would say if there's a question, you go and have it looked at. It might not even be what you think it is.
Yes, yes, and we have a whole show on getting that diagnosis and finding out maybe it's not what you thought it was. And that always, the mind, when we work with anxiety, it can create some scenarios.
It manufactures it even worse, doesn't it?
Yes, with zero net benefit, I think, right? Like when we sit in the anxiety, only just sit in the anxiety without any action. It's like being in a rocking chair. You're not going to get far.
You don't get anywhere.
You're using a lot of energy.
Yes.
And I would say on the caregiving side, I think denial can come into play a lot of times as a reaction to noticing there's changes going on, but you don't want to see it.
Yes, I do think that's really, really easy. And if someone in your family has been previous diagnosed and their behavior has been such that you know what you don't want.
Yeah, you don't want to go there again.
Yeah. And I would say that early diagnosis is a powerful thing in and of itself.
Right.
If you get that far.
And then being brave enough to lean into the discomfort of
yes.
those tougher conversations. The what if it is Alzheimer's disease? What if? What's going to happen to me?
Yes, because today, in just 13 years, they've really come up with a lot more things that you can do in order to help yourself.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And our minds are lazy.
Yes.
Right? And so if we haven't been doing crossword puzzles, we haven't been challenging our mind. Like with me, right after diagnosis, I began getting words in the middle of the night. And if you've ever journaled, it was kind of like that. These words were just coming to me, and I was writing and writing and writing and creating. And so I have done that for the past 13 years. And I think that helps me.
Yes, yes. And I think in your journey, too, like you faced your fear with some real action. Whether it be exercise, you used to have like a ma, ta, pa,
sa, ta, ma, na, yeah.
Game you would play, cognitive like skills.
And you train your mind.
Yeah.
So, and people would look at me crazy.
So addressing some of the fear with not our natural response to fear is fight, flight, or freeze. I usually freeze when I'm overwhelmed or something. But if we can kind of push ourselves through that, we can find that there's a lot of help. Maybe it's not as bad as we thought it was going to be.
Maybe it isn't what we thought it was going to be.
It's not going to be.
Yeah.
And I would say, I think, you have to think about your attention. What is your attention on? Is it on the worst case scenario? Is it on, hey, we're going to calmly address the situation?
And I don't know why, but I took that road.
She did.
My dad had passed previous to this, and my getting the diagnosis, and I knew nothing about it until really late in his process. But I didn't stop. I didn't pay any attention. Even a child who had a father that passed from it, you'd think that I would have, no. That was because, why? I'm living life good, right? Until I wasn't.
Yeah. So what other ways, once you got the diagnosis though, Nancy, then it's a real heavy package in your lap.
It is.
And so what kind of fearful, sure it goes to the future, right away. I'm going to end up unable to care for myself.
Yeah, well, sure.
Sure,
'Cause
right.
isn't that what a lot of doctors tell you right out of the gate?
Get your affairs in order.
Right.
Right.
And if you don't know much about it, so the knowledge is power.
Ooh, I like
but
that.
getting up and taking action
Yeah.
is the wisdom part.
And even just like the knowledge, knowing that the end stages of Alzheimer's disease can be 15 or 20 years from a diagnosis.
Yes.
Now, if you close up shop right at the beginning,
And
right,
give up and sit
give
down
up
and
it's
just
over.
hold your hand out for someone else to fix you, because that's pretty much what the medical system does today.
Yeah, imagine all the grandkids or experiences that you could still possibly have
Right. Oh
in
my
this
gosh.
period of time.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And do you, in the fear, do you bring family members in, or do you choose not to? It's a real personal,
Yes.
I brought my kids in right away. Going through that door to get the diagnosis, my daughter said to me, Mom, are you sure you want to open this door? Why are you doing this? You're 70 years old. Why are you doing this? And I said, because for my peace of mind, I need to know. And if there's something that I can do to help myself, you bet I want to know. And I'm telling you, you have a much greater chance of getting through this thing for longer, being able to take care of yourself longer, and just being healthier for a number of years. Don't count yourself out too quickly.
So, with that in mind, though, I think you do have, if you get a diagnosis early or you start having these difficult conversations, it does give you, and I urge everyone to do this, is their advance directives, ability to plan. Like, okay, let's just go ahead and get the scary thing out of the closet. What if the worst thing that I can imagine happens to me? The thing that
I can't make decisions, and
I can't. Who would be that person that's going to do that for me? What are my wishes should I end up being in that scenario?
Yes.
I've told my boys I want to be by a window. Do not put me in a dark room.
That's funny.
Please. Yeah.
I told my girls,
Yeah.
2 boys and I got 2 girls, I told my girls, light room.
Yeah, there we go.
A light room.
And all these little things that you can write down.
It's silly, isn't it?
But it's true. There is a wonderful document called the 5 Wishes that a lot of states
Recognize, and Nevada does.
Yes, as a document that can, really be used legally to
It's
know
a kinder way, rather than legalese,
that you don't understand.
that you don't understand what you've just signed. This is very plain and very clear, and it does give a roadway by which to follow. And I've filled one out. I like that idea.
Yeah, so if you and your family, or gosh, who's going to take care of him? These are delicate conversations. I think this 5 Wishes frames it in a very benevolent,
Kind way.
compassionate way. A way that you don't have to fill it all in right at the beginning. It just triggers you to think, who would be the person to handle
Right.
my finances? It would just maybe separate from the person who would physically care for me. And then all those fun things.
And and talk about it, because
it lightens it when you talk about it.
it does lighten it. And you might hear something that, oh no, I don't want that to happen. I don't want that.
Right, and we don't want to look at some of this sometimes, right? This scary dark closet.
Yes.
But sometimes if we get it all out,
It's not so scary.
it is less scary. And I think for the person who may be at the beginning, you have some control, you have a say, you have your personhood.
And they know, the family, know how the feelings that you have, and just different decisions are made.
Right.
So, yeah, it's just something you should do.
Yes, in my professional experience, I have found that the legal system, the hospitals, when it comes to Alzheimer's disease, are not prepared very well for the emergency situation where suddenly somebody has an event that is scary or requires quick action. That's to me where the planning ahead would have been
And
so
the
much
kids
better.
look at one another and they say, we don't know what mom wants.
Yeah, or there can be, of course, fighting between the siblings and who does what. So trying to address those things as early as possible can help lessen that. And I think this is a great time
Just to
stretch
Oh.
and take a break and think about facing fears.
And maybe not having them.
If you want attention, you need more than an ad. You need a presence. Welcome to WWDBTV, your internet streaming TV station built for business and people. We create high-impact commercials and video podcasts with pro production. Then we help distribute your show where audiences already watch and listen. Your brand, your story. Broadcast ready. On streaming, on social, and beyond. Ready to be seen? Visit WWDBTV.com and book your production today.
Hi, we're back.
Hi. Well, we're facing fears today. I know that it's scary. So what do we do first, Nancy, when we're faced
with fear?
Mm-hmm.
I think we've learned to take a deep breath.
You know, we're the only species that can regulate its nervous system.
And
I
we're
love
grateful
facts
for
like
that.
this.
Yeah.
So with a breath, it's no kidding. So whenever you are feeling something hard, heavy coming your way, some fear,
Just stop for a minute.
Hmm.
Breathe in. And then there is always gratitude. You know, we work so fast and furious for the worst that can happen.
Right.
Right? Don't we? Why is that?
I don't know. Like
We do,
human
though.
nature is to
And
find
the
all
worst
the problems.
kind of what is happening.
Yes.
And look how that would have affected me for 13 years.
Mhm.
Right?
And the society has this overlay of such dim images of people living with dementia. All the advertisements sometimes are just like so, oh my
Horrific.
gosh, they're only showing tragedy and sorrow.
No smile, no giggle.
And here this is honestly why we're here.
Here.
Not to say that doesn't happen.
It
But
does.
how can you reframe it?
And how can you stop in the middle of all that and look at all the things that are good around you? And I know it's hard. It is hard.
But that is a tip and technique. Just wait a minute. What do I have? What does my loved one, what can they do? That's when you pivot
Right.
to being a partner from this side.
Right.
Right?
Right. And it doesn't all have to be fixed completely, but in the minute by minute,
Mhm.
if you can bring a little peace to yourself, and like, you know, for instance, if someone has done something, I mean, we do have strangers that are living in our house sometimes, right? I could be that stranger. We laugh at my house. Where is mom gone?
Where's that other Nancy?
That other Nancy.
And that's an important part, I think, is so many people that come to me say, you know, well, my mom or dad now really can't necessarily rationalize or they can't communicate what they're trying to say. If you were fortunate enough to have a loving relationship with that person, I think it's always helpful that you are the caretaker of who they really are and what you knew about them, what you love about them. And if you could close your eyes and have a conversation with that person, and what would they say and tell you to do? I have found that so helpful.
And I think that would be helpful. As somebody who sometimes, could use that, I would say to you that just some of the bare calming things are not as, and as you've spoken, if you walk into a room and you're agitated,
walk back out. You're not going to get anywhere.
You're not going to get anywhere, really. So we're asking so much of you.
Yeah.
We're asking so much of the caregiver. I'm sorry for that. And I see it happening at my level, and I have a lot of workarounds. And I'm doing pretty darn well, but it takes me a lot longer to do everything. And there's every once in a while I say, oh my goodness sake, what is happening here? And I don't look at at times that it's going to get worse.
Right.
And
but I think, and maybe sometimes you don't want to look at the times that get worse, but some of us on the caretaking side and in the
Need to.
family, we need to.
Of course.
Actually, it is in your best interest.
Absolutely.
Right. In the long term.
Absolutely.
Again, not to be faced with some emergency situation where things are signed quickly, or someone could end up incarcerated. I've seen that before. It's not a good space for quick.
No.
Planning serves so much
more.
And it might not unfold in that way, but I think it gives the family a little sense of their own due diligence. We've done our thing. Now we can relax on being with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And working at it together. So early diagnosis allows that.
Yeah, that's true.
You start a new relationship. It's not the end. It's a beginning. You start a new relationship being able to just listen. Sometimes that's all it takes. And sometimes our side is too far along and we don't take those minutes. We can't. We lose part of ourself. And so the pride comes in and says, I can't say that. I can't tell them that. And so what do we resort to? We get angry and we say things that we don't mean. And all of that goes on. And so we're saying, it's hard on both sides.
Definitely.
It's really
Yes.
hard on both sides.
Yes. And so, and I think with this facing your fear conversation, and I would say on the family care partner side, if it's just you and your loved one in your home, one of the things that I'm asking you to think about is, who else is going to support you on the journey? Because you will be taking on more and more responsibility, maybe bill paying and shopping and starting to take on more and more of the household things.
Yeah.
And then we might have some physical decline that we have to start taking care of.
Sure.
And so I always laugh when you go to a care facility, you'll find that there's about a team of 8 people doing what you were trying to do 24/7.
Yeah.
And you already know that math does not work out.
Yeah.
So if you are a family care partner, and I know there's a lot of promises made in those relationships with a spouse or a parent, have some soft edges of how it might unfold, and that you need to think about who is on my care team. Friends, distant relatives, a good friend down in the neighborhood. That is a core thing to do very early on. Who can I rely on?
Yes. Health teams, dementia care health teams are very important because sometimes you need help, and if it's in town, the people are in town, maybe they can run an errand for you. It doesn't sound like a lot and you don't want to ask, but you're just spent.
There's something about that, don't ask.
Yeah.
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 There is a little, I think I found myself being very too independent.
I noticed that.
Yeah. Like, I got this, until you're like crying and collapsed, right? And then you need to look around and say, can somebody help me?
Yeah.
So, think about other caregiving resources. There's agencies that provide in-home care. Now Medicare has a guide program for somebody newly diagnosed. This is only in certain areas in the country right now. They help you navigate
Through.
and get
Yes.
help, support.
Yes, and call and find out. It takes time. You're on the phone holding, and that's frustrating. You've got me over here asking for something, and all
Digging
of that.
through a drawer or something. Yeah.
Well, not quite yet,
Not,
but
yeah.
one never knows.
Yeah,
Yes.
And then I think when the care partner is more relaxed, the caregiver can more relax, more mentally, then you are able to embrace
And once you start
the
doing
interplay
this,
and then make it,
you feel
meaningful.
better and lighter.
And I promise you, the whole room changes.
It is. Yeah.
Your loved one changes when
That's right.
you can come
They follow
in.
suit.
Yes.
Yes. I found when I started writing poetry, I found I have a poem that I'm going to read to you today, and it's about this. It is
good.
about
Okay.
it is about how people feel, and this. The setup to this is that I was in a business networking group in the morning, so you spend 2 hours, right, for over 3 years. And I decided I was going to read them the poems that were in my book, or a poem that was in my book. And people didn't know what to do with that, right? And so when you talk about making yourself say yes to going out meeting somebody. So one of the gentlemen that was in this business group, I wrote this poem for him. I didn't see him for a year after I quit the group because of the diagnosis, and I wrote this poem with him in mind. So it's called A Cup of Coffee. In the morning's heat, sharing coffee and ketchup, long since last seen, a dear friend, soon to confess he didn't know how to act or what to say. He stammered to grasp sympathetic words, multiplied his fluster and progressing pink cheeks, all adding to his honest dilemma. To the rescue flashed my usual ready-to-smile grinny grin, a hug and hello, quick break-in. One not from confidence, but he wouldn't know that. Only I, feeling the crumble inside, realize that my smile, seems not so. Forthcoming and faithful. More hesitant, flawed somehow, depending, of course, on what I ask of myself. And today I wanted to be genuine, overshadow any beneath the surface, moldy mind decay, his discomfort foremost and first, so that I might answer his tender inquiry, "How are you?" My warm reassurance reached for his fingertips. Across the table we held hands, looking at him eye to empathetic eye. I know, I feel his tenderness. It is difficult to ignore. But stop, please stop. I'm fine. I am. I know I am. Just great, I'm good, lifting my voice a lilt for him. Assured, adding a cavalier fashion. Thanks for asking. We chitted, we chatted, this and that, easy as it had always been. We like one another, friend to friend. As I speculate into the unknown, what did he really think? And deducing, perhaps not mine to know. 'Cause if I ask him, does he feel he can be truthful? Second coffee drained, and me too. Certainly time to go. It's all good, our hug told me so. We'll see each other again, sooner. For time is of the essence, and true friends valuable. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to have coffee with him next week.
Oh. Wow, beautiful. Wow, that really...
So I write these in the moment, and then, it brings out what I really feel.
Right. And then you so eloquently described you could sense his discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know now how to talk to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And there was something about his perception of
Yes.
the diagnosis that made him internally afraid
Yeah.
or fearful or uncomfortable.
Yeah.
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 So, Nancy, what would you tell like a friend of yours who's going to go talk to somebody newly diagnosed? How could they now approach their friend that they've had for a while?
Right. Right. I think with openness, I think go to a familiar place. Excuse me. Something you might have done before, or if you're going to their home or they're going to yours. Not any place that's noisy. So we went to a coffee shop and not one of the busy ones that you go in today. Many years ago now, this was. And and just eye to eye, simple conversation. And it was wonderful. I did feel crumbly inside. I didn't feel myself. I was sort of put back. For a moment, wished I hadn't gone. And then as we worked through it, I knew it was okay, and it was okay for him.
Yeah.
Gosh.
He was he was having his own experience.
Right.
Right, but I think this so eloquently kind of shows the dynamic when somebody's feeling what I call contracted a little bit. You're, for whatever reason, there's not any wrong or right to it, but there's something about it, and then you're sensing it. And I know that people living with cognitive changes, they can sense more than
One might think they can.
they
right?
sense over talk or communication verbally.
Oh, okay.
I've noticed my loved ones,
Yeah.
they could sense a mood,
Yes.
if you would, or a direction of some other thing. Right.
Or you're conjuring it up in your mind and you're thinking, I could have said, oh my gosh, he just can't talk to me. And in a fluster, you make a different decision. And we didn't have that.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of coffee, you can
Buy us a cup. How about that?
contribute to our Buy Us a Coffee, because we love coffee. We do love having coffee chats, and sometimes we love to have them at home in cozy robes.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
And we are on a mission to talk about these things sort of in
Yeah.
a real way, how it comes up, how it's all okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Nancy. That poem was beautiful.
Thank you.
And yes.
We have a question from one of the viewers for Nancy.
Oh.
When you read these poems later, in other words, I understand they come to you and you write it down. When you read these later at some other time, do they mean the same thing every time, or is it different every time you read it?
No, it is this. No, I fall back into just how I felt back then. Today. Now, if I hadn't written a poem about it, would I even remember it? No, I can look in my books. I've got 3 of them. I can look sometimes and see, and I think, well, who wrote that? It's in my own book, but I don't remember writing it. No, but if it's poignant to me, and most of them are, I'm right back there right now.
Oh, yeah, I feel it from you when you read that you are right back at that coffee
I
conversation.
can remember reaching across the table.
And I want to ask you about that. Does that, when it changed, when you had the physical touch with him, did the exchange, did he
for
relax?
Him.
He
for
relaxed.
For him. He
you
relaxed.
made it okay for him.
Yes.
I love that. See,
I think if you can say it.
yes.
Now, being fearful and not wanting to say it is another story.
And hiding it.
And hiding it and, fidgeting and all that
yes.
sort of stuff.
I have a story where I had witnessed, I was at an outreach, a ladies' lunch, a very active women's group. A woman who was experiencing cognitive decline was asked to alphabetize with the name tags at the table. And she had not let her friends of a long time know that she had been diagnosed. And then I came and gave this great talk about brain health and how to stave off dementia. And later she circled back and was in full tears to me. Could not tell people. And she was devastated that they were criticizing her ability
to do it.
To
Well, and
alphabetize, right?
Let me tell you something. We are very, very tender inside.
Yes, and her pain.
Very
was
tender.
And then she would so...
She probably getting there, I don't know if she drove with somebody or if she drove herself or getting there. You know, and if you've gotten lost 2 or 3 times, very familiar with this, by the way, you get lost 2 or 3 times on the way getting there, you are so frustrated and hyper to
Yes.
what you no longer can do.
Yes.
So
yes.
it doesn't, that person who said that probably didn't mean that at all. But what's the first thing you do?
Yeah, well,
You
she took it...
internalize.
Yes, well, to your story. So I, counted her crying over the alphabetizing and her friends criticizing her. And then I heard them talking about her and commenting that she had gotten lost the last time they were
Together.
supposed to get together.
Yeah.
And I can't get them to see it, and she won't say it.
Yes.
Right? Even though I was here talking about dementia, I felt like I had failed. Like, on, well, these are the signs.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was unfolding right in front of me. And I did later take this picture of all the women. And I've asked several people, and which woman has Alzheimer's disease?
In the picture?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could never pick it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, she was the most well-dressed
Dressed.
and put together.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
She had a lot of pride. But
Yeah.
I think it's why this kind of pain could have been avoided by just 2 parties, making it okay. When somebody gets cancer, we get casseroles and gifts and prayer groups. I can't wait for the day where somebody gets diagnosed and all their friends circle around them
Yeah.
in the same way.
Yes. When I read my first poem to this group, nobody wanted eye contact.
Out of here.
Yeah. And they found doorways to leave. And I thought, wow.
Yeah. Well,
The eye avoidance and all of that, it's not their fault. That's why we're here.
yeah, and
it's not
it's
their
not
fault.
contagious. But
By the way, you can't rub elbows with it and get it. But it's just, it's becoming familiar in a different way.
yeah, and talking about it
And talking about it.
seeing, might get diagnosed, you might live 20 years, just, like.
Don't
fine.
count me out too soon.
Yeah, and then and as we wrap up, though, I think looking back on my family's experience and the worst case scenario for most people's mind did happen, right? That loved one that was my grandmother tethered to the bed,
Ah,
shriveled, speaking her native tongue of Hungarian. And I asking my father why she tethered to the bed. As a young woman, that made humanely no sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My grandmother had plenty of money, so money was not the object that could make that better. But then and my dad said, well, she's a fighter. And I said, well, yes.
God, I would
she
be
should
too.
be swinging. Absolutely, to be treated this way. This is not what we want.
Right.
But the good news, how can we turn that scenario around? That story put her granddaughter on a mission.
There you go. See, something
So,
good always.
later on.
Yeah.
And it created some new dynamics in the family.
Yeah.
Having to work together, the people
Yes,
that weren't
yes.
working together before.
Yeah.
So there is a little other things going on from that person that's in the ultimate state we think is just maybe not
where we want to be.
not
Shall
where we
say
want
that?
to be. But if you look around, again, that's creating some new good things.
It is. So for every bad thing that comes up, there really is something
There's always
that's okay.
the opposite.
So we've met so many. We met one another because of
because
this.
of this Alzheimer's thing.
Yeah. And, Yeah.
Yeah, I've learned so much.
Me too.
So, I don't know, play around, be curious,
Come back.
be brave, take action, to talk about it,
Yeah.
to look a little further, and you will find your own answers. If there's some things that you've noticed that you've been afraid of, your family's afraid to talk about, please put it in the comments. We read them all. We would love to answer back. If you like something you heard or love Nancy's poetry, the poetry is available on our website at dangledot.com. And we'd love for you to hit that like button to help us go a little further with that
That's
YouTube
right.
algorithm stuff.
We appreciate you. Thank you for joining today.